Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Bernard, for the floor. So I am Tsakiropoulou. I will share my screen now. I am a transportation engineer, and I would like to present to you our project Desthi Smart, of which my organization, we are the lead partner. Our development agency is actually operating as a local government organization, and it supports our shareholders that are the 11 municipalities of the wider urban area of Thessaloniki. We support our shareholders not only at mobility projects, but at all the, let's say, social projects, and we are trying to work for their maturity and for finding the financial instruments for their support and so on. My presentation is about the Desthi Smart project, our partnership, key objectives, results, and briefing on how we share our correlation with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. A few words about what is the Desthi Smart. First of all, its acronym stands for the full name, Delivering Efficient Sustainable Tourism with Low Carbon Transport Innovations, Sustainable Mobility, Accessibility, and Responsible Travel. This project addresses challenges for efficient sustainable tourism and for the promotion of low carbon economy through sustainable mobility and accessibility. We're very honored to be the lead partner of this partnership that is consisting of public, regional, local, and transport authorities from 9 very famous and busy destinations with, however, problems with high tourism and mass tourism, actually, mostly during summer, because most of them are from the South Europe. So our partnership, thank you, is consisting of these 9 project partners and our advisory partner, that is the Bournemouth University. At the next page, we can see the overall objective of the project. It is therefore to improve the transport and tourism policies of European Union destinations by integrated strategies for sustainable mobility, accessibility, and responsible travel, with efficient and sustainable tourism development. We are working on the transition to a low carbon economy to our destinations through efficiency, resilience, multimodality, novel, low carbon transport systems, cycling, walking, intermodality for visitors, and with the implementation of innovations, policy learning, and capacity building. All of them, we consider that they are in the same direction with many of the Sustainable Development Goals, and specifically those that are in the same direction with the tourism for Sustainable Development Goals. At the next page, we can see the partnership. So the Desthi Smart partnership, as I said earlier, is constituting by 2 regional authorities, Sardinia and Majorca, 2 development agencies, Thessaloniki and Lake Balaton at Hungary, 2 tourism boards, Bremerhaven, Germany, and Paphos, Cyprus, 1 local authority, Hastings, in United Kingdom, 1 public transport authority, Funchal, from Madeira, Portugal, 1 association, Latvian Greenways, and 1 university, as I said, that is our advisory partner, this of Bournemouth. At the next slide, you can see again, there is a map of the partnership, but there I would like to refer, at the next slide, please, to the policy instruments that are addressed within our project. So we are facing and we're trying to upgrade within the Desthi Smart goals 2 regional operational programs, these of Sardinia and Madeira, 1 national operational program, these of Hungary, and 6 own strategies, Thessaloniki, Hastings, Majorca, Vidzeme, Bremerhaven, and Paphos. Since, as I said, mostly our project is trying to upgrade our policy instruments through its aims. So we're trying to face the deficiencies of our policy instruments. We can go to the next slide. Since our project is still ongoing, but however it will be completed on November 2022. We are at the second phase of it, and we are all trying to implement our action plans. Within our project, actually within our first phase, we have drafted 9 action plans, one per each partner destination. They were completed in March 2021 and validated by the Joint Secretariat. Now we are running the B phase, the implementation phase, since April 2021 until November 2022. Our 9 action plans are comprising more than 30 actions, and they're all either new projects or improvement governance, and as I said, with facing our policy instruments discrepancies or structural changes. We also ran 3 pilot actions that they are also founded by the Interreg Europe program, and they are for Thessaloniki, for the Latvian Greenways, and for Paphos. Our policy change results either have already been achieved or are expected in terms of sustainable tourism, mobility, and accessibility towards transitioning our destinations to smart destinations. In this table, you can see the 9 destinations and the projects that have. Either they are for improvement governance, when you can see the letter I, or when they are new projects with the letter N, or structural change. All our projects are on our 4 thematic priority themes: low carbon transport, intermodality, accessible tourism, cycling and walking, and some of them are trying to address a comparison, all of them, let's say. While at the next tables, at the next slide, please, we can see again the table fulfilled with the titles of the projects. For Thessaloniki, we have 2 projects in our action plan. Our first project is trying to face all the thematic priorities, and it is about enabling an upgraded policy framework. We're trying to upgrade and upscale our Thessaloniki 2030 resilience strategy, and I will have the chance to say a few more words afterwards, because the development of this strategy was a very big chance for Thessaloniki. And our second action is about developing a joint digital platform, the Thes Visit, as we call it. It is a new project. The other colleagues, the other partners, for instance, Sardinia is working on 3 actions. The first action is on low carbon transport, and it is a new project, but also it is about implementation of the regional action plan for charging stations for electric vehicles. The second project is the second action is about implementation of the regional cycling mobility plan, and the third is about the completion of the intermodal center of Oristano. Therefore, you can see that they also touch the specific 3 priority themes: low carbon, cycling and walking, and intermodality. For Paphos, their first action is the implementation of investment preparation for a cable car, teleferic, or aerial roadway system for visitors. Their second action is about enhancing intermodality for visitors through cooperation and coordination between transport modes at key tourism modality nodes. So this is the intermodality action. Their third action is implementing a policy framework of structural change for accessibility provision for tourism, for visitors with mobility handicaps. The fourth action is about provision cycling facilities for visitors and promotion of an application they are developing, GPS My City, for exploring Paphos urban area, while they have a fifth also action, testing of mobility as a service for sustainable tourism. Lake Balaton, Hungary, they also have 3 actions. The first one is on the intermodality theme, mobility points at railway stations and development of intermodality measures. The second action is about reduction of traffic congestion in Balaton shore of Suffolk. And the third action is about improving bicycle transport establishment in resting places and building of bicycle path in Alsace and Alsace. Sorry for this. At the next slide, please. Here at the Vidzeme region, we can see that they are very active. They have 5 actions again. The first one on low carbon transport, they are developing greenways adaptation to electromobility. Their intermodality action is development of public railway transport routes and timetables for cycling tourism. Their accessible tourism action is improving the accessibility of the environment by means of universal design for tourists and greenway mobility points. The action on cycling and walking is about updating smarter facilities in greenways for cycling and walking promotion for visitors. And an action comprising all the themes or the thematic priorities, testing of accessible greenways for everyone on demand service in Vidzeme region. For Mallorca, one of the most famous destinations, they are working on 3 actions. The two of them are on accessible tourism, promotion of hiking activities in natural and mountainous areas for people with special needs, and improving accessibility at tourist facilities linked to walking activities. While the third action on all of the priority themes is about promoting accessibility to points of tourist interest by public transport and provide more sustainable and low carbon means of transportation. Hastings, the destination close to London in the United Kingdom, is developing a sustainable seafront public transport service. Bremerhaven is working on the installation of a free-floating bike rental system. And also the accessible tourism action is about purchasing of a bicycle for people in wheelchairs. And finally, Horarios do Funchal, one of our most active partners, is working about 2 actions on intermodality, flexible bus transport solution, and sustainable intermodal maritime connection, while their third action is about regional low carbon working group, about developing actually a low carbon working group at regional level. In the next slide, I would like very briefly to introduce you to our vision, the Thessaloniki vision of the Thessaloniki Action Plan. So our vision is to improve the Thessaloniki 2030 resilience strategy and create a new policy framework for our city towards its promotion to a responsible travel destination by fostering low carbon and active mobility means, and by offering accessibility to the city's tourism and cultural hotspots all over its metropolitan area. Our action plan proposes a resilient concept to provide new, sustainable, and more responsible mobility services for our visitors, for tourists. While I will very briefly introduce you also to our 2 actions in the next slide. The first action, as I said earlier, is about upgrading our policy framework, the Resilient Thessaloniki 2030 strategy. When you will have the presentation, you can click at the path that will appear at the Resilient Thessaloniki strategy for 2030, and you can see our policy instrument. It was delivered by the city of Thessaloniki in cooperation with a major development agency. It started be working in 2014 when our city joined the 100 Resilient Cities Network. And therefore, we developed this strategy that we consider it a very robust and participatory approach strategy to create actually a long-term city strategy that addresses current and future challenges. I would make a very brief note on what we mean resilience, and we can see that it is something that we face, for instance, at the moment, currently, about the pandemic, about the war. So all these stresses and shocks for the cities, that they have to face them within some of this kind resilient strategy. We are very proud because for the development of this resilient Thessaloniki strategy, more than 40 organizations and 2,000 citizens participated in our resilience dialogue. And the main objective is, as I said earlier, the Thessaloniki's urban resilience towards its population shifts, urban economy, open spaces, and local government. Our strategy is shaped by 4 goals, and it is broken down into 30 objectives and more than 100 actions. We are trying now to upscale it with the chance of joining the Desthi Smart Partnership. We can go to the next slide now. By introducing and enabling an upgraded policy framework that addresses both cities and visitors, tourists' needs, because our strategy had, of course, this first goal about saving a thriving and sustainable city with mobility and city systems that serve its people, but there was not actually there was lacking the facing of addressing together the visitors and the citizens and the tourists' need, actually. So reflecting the findings and the challenges as identified during the first phase of Desthi Smart, we are highlighting now the impact of tourism in the city's mobility. Therefore, we have added this new objective 8, Thessaloniki as a responsible tourist destination. And with this new framework, we will identify the interrelation between transportation systems and city attractions, identifying and understanding the visitors and tourists' flows. Now we can go to the next slide. And I will briefly also present to you our second action, that it is the pilot action founded by the Interreg Europe project with additional funding, I mean. It is about testing and developing a joint digital platform. We call it Test Visit. Also, the link is going to this platform. However, now it is a beta version. And the aim is to make an incredibly simple web-based platform where anyone can have the right tools to create his customized tour within the city, using sustainable and smart ways of commuting. While the ultimate goal, of course, is for the citizens to experience the city while fostering active mobility and balancing environmental, education, and social considerations. We aim to also develop the first visit ticket, providing combined mobility and tourist solutions to the visitors. I only wanted to say that this joint platform is based on a memorandum of understanding between the operators, which is MDAT and the Municipality of Thessaloniki, the intermediaries that are the businesses of the wider tourism sector, but also the operators of transport, and of course the end users that are the visitors of the city. After having said all this, I wanted to express actually the direct correlation with the Sustainable Development Goals. We think that we are in the same direction with 5 of the 13 of them. For sure, the sustainable cities and communities seems by working on all these actions we're trying to provide sustainable citizen communities and, of course, destinations. The 12th goal that is about the responsible consumption and production, we consider that it is aimed with responsible tourists. That is something that we're trying to provide. Of course, the 13th goal is about climate action, and since we're trying to foster, to promote active mobility, electromobility, and other sustainable mobility issues, we're working on this direction of climate action. And of course, the partnerships for goal, the 17th goal, is faced by our project because, of course, both at the level of the European partnership between the destinations, also we're working on the partnerships with our stakeholders. As I said, we're developing this memorandum of understanding, and of course, in this way, we guess that we're also in this direction of the 17th goal.